Hey guys, Dr. David Powers here. I get a lot of questions here at Prepared about first aid kits. And the thing is, there are so many options, so many things you could do, just so much just so much information. And so what I like to do here at Prepared, one of the main things I like to do is boil everything down into easy chunks that you can remember, easy things that you can recall, simplifying all the chaos and the mess of information that is out there for emergency preparedness or preppers if you're one of the more serious types. And so I like to kind of dispel some of the information overload. And so today we're going to talk first aid kits. So, do you need first aid kits for all the places you go? Yes. Do you need to know what to keep restocked at home for, first aid kit refills? Yes. All right, so you're at the right place, obviously. So first aid kits can get pretty expensive. And the thing is, most of what's in the kit, it's a one-time consumable item. So there's no need to spend a ton of money on most of it. There are a lot of people out there that are going to tell you to buy these huge kits. And let's be honest, you don't have to, because what I like to do, what I like to teach people to do and train in my classes is to prepare for what is most likely going to happen. I mean, if you prepare for every eventuality, you're going to need to buy an ambulance to keep in your front yard, and you still won't have enough. I worked on an ambulance for decades, both in the military and civilian life. And I got to be honest, most of what was in the ambulance was seldom used. It follows the Pareto principle, wherein 20% of the things are used for 80% of the calls. So read on. I don't know why I said that. I was just writing the blog that goes with this YouTube video, and so I was thinking about reading. But I digress. I hope you like my unedited videos, because I like just doing these off the cuff pretty much. And so listen on, and I'll give you my top recommendations for first aid kits for all areas of your life. I'm also going to let you know which items you should spend a little more money on versus the ones you should go cheap on. Because here's the thing. I could send you to Amazon with a list this long of all the items you need to stock in your kits. But to be honest, most of the time, you just need to buy a ready-made kit. It's going to come with way more stuff in there than you need. But, you can take that stuff out. Who knows? You might use it someday. That weird, strange thing that, why is it in the kit? Everybody wonders, and you might use it. But for the most part, you buy one of these ready-made kits, take out the stuff you don't need, take out the extra stuff, keep it in your restock box, and you're ready to go. And for all you medical people out there, like I said, I worked on an ambulance for many years, and I realized most of that stuff is seldom used. All you paramedics and EMTs and firefighters out there, though, you're going to think that you need a full jump bag everywhere you go. I've seen you jump out of your cars with your vest on and a full jump bag when you're not even on duty. And, you just don't always need all that stuff. Even on the ambulance, you didn't need all that stuff. And so that's why I like to focus on, for the most part, I work with civilians. And I like to focus on small first aid kits that are easy to store, easy to manage, inexpensive to buy, and easy to restock. And so that's what we're going to focus on. So for most people, a basic first aid kit is all you'll ever need. I actually have another YouTube video that you can pull it up if you want to, and it's a really, excuse me, sinuses. It's a really, really small first aid kit that I carry when I go hiking. Now, most of the time it's perfect. There was that one time when I got that big scar on the top of my head that it didn't work. Well, it worked. There just wasn't enough trauma bandages in the kit. And so we had to use some clothing off of my wife to bandage my head until I made it to an ambulance. But, arterial bleeds will do that. But you'll seldom get an arterial bleed, so you don't need all that stuff. So these first aid kits that I recommend, and there are links below, they'll include, in the basic one, you're going to find alcohol prep pads, sting relief pads, soap wipes, antiseptic wipes. Like I said, a lot of things you wouldn't normally buy, but it comes in there. Use it. Iodine prep pads, tons of bandages. There's a variety of Band-Aid type bandages for knuckles, fingertips, some butterflies, some 4x4s, sterile gauze, triangular bandage, to do a nice sling or a pretty cool little do-rag if you need to, if you're sweating when you're out there. Some moleskin. If you haven't used moleskin and don't know what it is, you are going to love it. Long hike, when you get blisters on your feet, it is a blessing. There's also, in this one that I recommend, there's an iPad. It's a plastic over here. You're very seldom going to use that, but hey, it's in there. There's some elastic bandages. A lot of times, that's one of the most commonly used things here at my house is gauze, Band-Aids, and elastic bandages. Now, there's also a CPR mask in this one. I always recommend you carry a CPR mask because chances are you're never going to use it. You hope you never have to use it. But if somebody goes down and they need CPR, man, that's the thing that would make the difference between do I help them or do I not help them. Also in this one, there's some tweezers, a thermal blanket. I hate those thermal blankets. They can save a life, but man, I've tried to sleep under them. When I was a military medic, that's all I had. I was trying to sleep under one, and I swear every time I rolled over, it just sounded like I was covered in aluminum foil, and it woke me up. So, but if you're dying, it's a good thing. All right, tongue depressors. There's some gloves in the small kit. Definitely something you'll replace a lot. Some EMT shears, cotton balls, Q-tips, safety pins, and an emergency glow stick. Now, interesting. Well, no, I'll save that story for another time about a fun thing you can do with glow sticks that I try to talk kids into. But that's the basic first aid kit. Now, in the advanced first aid kit that I recommend, like I said, this one's an advanced one. It's for advanced practitioners. If you want to be able to handle heavy trauma and you have the training for it, go for this kit. There are some items in this advanced kit that if you don't know what you're doing, you could hurt somebody. And so just be careful. If you do buy the kit, get the training. If you have the training, go ahead and buy the kit. I carry an advanced kit in my car because, I can use everything that's in here and have used most of it on people before. And so this one contains some extra things like tourniquets, chest seals, things like that. And so in the advanced kit that I recommend, and by the way, both these kits come in neat little bags, neat little nylon bags. That way you keep everything together. You can put some cool patches on the front if you want. So in the advanced kit, we've got a cat tourniquet. It's the tourniquets that we used in the Army when I was a medic. It's a folded splint in there. Some of y'all might know that as a SAM splint. This is not the SAM brand, but it's a malleable splint. It's aluminum, padded aluminum, and you can actually make splints, C-collars for the neck, all kinds of neat stuff. We got pressure dressings, roll gauze, chest seals. Let's see, there's a nasopharyngeal airway in there. One of those things that you should have the training before you use. Also, there's another thermal blanket in this one too. Yeah, like I said, just don't try to sleep in it. It's not going to be comfortable. Abdominal pad, a big trauma dressing basically. Elastic bandages, triangle bandages, burn dressings. This one actually comes with a few extra things like a Sharpie marker, some EMT shears, first aid tape, more gloves. Let's see, alcohol prep pads, they come with this one as well. Also, there is a variety of Band-Aids like in the other one, some more wound dressings. Basically, it's a slightly bigger kit, and it's got the advanced stuff in there as well. Now, the things you need to keep stocked at home. So the thing about restocking at home is I recommend you keep a restock at home for only the most commonly used consumables. These are the things that you're going to use on a weekly basis usually, and you're going to want to replace that as quick as possible. You don't ever want to not replace it. So you don't have to keep a lot of this stuff. But remember, the most important principle about restocking your first aid kits is that you restock them as soon as possible after an emergency. What I recommend is, you get the kit out to use it. It's open, it's on the counter, it's on a desk or whatever. I always recommend that you do not ever close it up and put it away until you've restocked it. Now, let's say you use some stuff at work, your restock's at home. You can close it up and put it away, but not until you've written a reminder note or put a reminder on your phone to get the restock and bring it back to work. So like I said, you don't have to buy a lot of restock. On the blog post I did for this, I actually showed you, and there's a link below for that, showed you a picture of some of the restock that's in my air raid shelter. That's what we call our storage closet at the farm here. And so, you don't have to keep near as much as I do. I've got shelves and shelves of medical supplies, but bear in mind, I do work in the disaster medical field, plus I got 5 kids. And the kids and me, we get into some crazy stuff, and I'm accident prone when I'm climbing, and so I stock more than the average person. What I recommend for you is you should be able to stock everything you have for restock into a small ammo can. That's what I recommend because they're waterproof, lightweight, sturdy, they got handles on them, And there's a link below. You can actually buy one that's bright orange, and it just screams medical supplies. And so I recommend that. If you don't get something that's bright red or orange, or obviously medical supplies, at least put a label on it. And so, if you have an extra tackle box or an ammo can, something like that hanging around, that's all you need. If you have more restock than fits in that for the average family, you probably got too much. You don't need that much. I mean, use it up. Don't refill as much when you buy more stuff. So for the restock that I suggest, you'll notice I'm not going to mention a couple of things that are in the first aid kit that you don't necessarily need. There'll be things that you seldom use, and you're going to have time to reorder if you do use it, like the abdominal pads, the large trauma dressings. I mean, in a pinch, you could use a sanitary napkin for the exact same thing. I'm also not going to mention other things that, once you use them, if you ever use them, you really don't need, like burn dressings. I've seldom even used those on the ambulance. And so burn dressings, if it's in the kit and it comes there, you can feel free to use it, but there's no need to buy a restock for it. Just use it and don't get any more. Also, there's other items that are machine washable. And at least if it's used on you or your family and it's not bloody, it's machine washable, like the triangular bandages. Also the elastic bandage. Some people call them ACE bandages. We rewash those at the house and reuse them. And so they're clean. Now, if they're bloody, we throw them away, burn them, whatever. Also, another reason some items might not make it to my restock list is because in the kits, I recommend there are so many of this item in there, you can just remove the extras, keep those for your restock. For instance, in the kits I recommend, I think there's like 40 alcohol prep pads that come in those. Well, you're not going to use that much on a weekly basis. Keep 5 of them in your first aid kit. Put the other 35 in your restock box, and there you've got restock for probably another 10 years. So the things you should restock. First one, gloves. So my wife likes to buy gloves in like 4 different sizes. So everybody in the house has a glove that fits them. We're talking latex, nitrile gloves, things to keep blood off of your hands and to keep your germs out of somebody else's injuries. So here's the thing. You don't need to buy gloves in different sizes unless you just want to. If money's an issue, don't. What you should do is just buy gloves to fit the person in your house with the biggest hands. In my house, that would be me, size large gloves. Here's the thing. The gloves on the smaller people, like if my kids are putting on some of the large gloves, it's going to look like clown gloves. They're going to be all floppy and everything. But here's the thing. The goal for most people for gloves is just to keep bodily fluids off of you, off of them, keep germs from transmitting, things like that. And so unless you're doing home surgeries or IVs, the gloves don't have to fit perfect. Now, if you're doing that stuff at home, well, we've got more to talk about. But if, you also need some more supplies. But if you're not doing stuff like that, the gloves don't have to be perfect. So aside from gloves, other restock items would be 4x4 gauze. Don't need to worry about buying different sizes of gauze, the little 4x4 gauze. Just buy a box of 4x4 gauze, a box of roll gauze. It's the same material except it rolls. First aid tape. I like the, some of y'all old school folks might remember the old first aid tape. It's white. It looks like athletic tape, we would call it. Almost like the same stuff you put around your baseball bat handle. I like the new tape, that real thick brown stuff. Well, it comes in different colors, but it's usually brown. And it sticks to itself, but it doesn't stick to the skin very bad. Also, it doesn't irritate the skin because it doesn't rip all the hairs and everything away so easily. So some rolls of first aid tape. I recommend you buy a box of the specialized Band-Aids. It contains knuckle Band-Aids, the fingertip ones. Should come with some antibiotic-coated Band-Aids, things like that. I recommend a box of regular Band-Aids. And don't buy the cute little Mickey Mouse ones that are tiny. Buy a box of the longer, bigger stretch Band-Aids. I mean, they're just regular size, but like those little tiny ones, they won't even wrap all the way around my finger. And also buy some extra elastic bandages, the ACE bandages. So that's what you should restock. Now, as to the question of, one of the biggest questions I get, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it here. Should I buy multiple kits or just have one in a central place where I can access it easily? I get this question a lot. So here's the thing. One kit is good, but not enough. More kits are more better. So as money allows, you need to have many, many first aid kits in multiple places. So here's what I recommend. You have a first aid kit in every single vehicle you have. That's your vehicle, your spouse's vehicle, your kids' vehicles, your work vehicles. One first aid kit in each vehicle. You should also have at least one kit at home. Now, if you have a small home, one kit works. Like if you, let's say you live in a mobile home, a tiny home, something like that, a little cabin, one kit works. I live in a 3-story house, or 2 stories with a basement, and so I have a kit on the main floor where all the action is, kitchen, things like that. The kitchen where pretty much most all accidents occur. I also have one in the basement because that way if we need it, it's down here. You don't have to run up the stairs to get it and then run back down the stairs. And worst case scenario, somebody falls down the stairs while they're running to get the kit, and then you got more injuries to deal with. And so if you've got multiple floors, I would recommend more than one kit, possibly even one on each floor. If it's just a bedroom floor, you don't necessarily need one there, but throw one in the bathroom. Can't hurt. I also recommend one kit in each detached shed, shop, or barn. If you have a detached shed, shop, or barn, chances are that's where you use the power tools. That's where all the tools are, the lawnmowers, oh man, I mean, just all the things you build and mess with and get into. That might be where you clean your guns. So I recommend you have a first aid kit in each one of those buildings, unless they're really close or right beside each other. Also, you should have your IFAK in your bug out bag. If you don't know what an IFAK is, or you don't know what goes in the bug out bag, be sure to check out my bug out bag course. And also, I've got a good blog post on the IFAK, and with some links in there where you can order one. And then last of all, the place where I recommend one is at your office. If you work away from home, you should have one in your desk or somewhere there at the office. So both these kits, all the kits that I recommend, have a lot of extra items in there that you're probably never going to use, or they're more than you need. So if you need more help knowing what to pull from the kits I recommend to make them lighter and smaller, just send me a message. You can comment here. You can email me at drdave@redteamgoals.com. I'll put that below as well, so you can get that easily. Also, if you need first aid training for a first-time trainee, recertification, you just need more practice, or you need to get certified for work, get in touch with me. I teach a ton of different types of first responder classes, both in person for groups or individuals and online. And so I love doing that because that's fun, because I like to, a lot of first aid classes, because I used to teach for the Red Cross, a lot of first aid classes are really boring. You watch some videos, you try a skill one time, that's pretty much it. I like to teach the skill. We might watch a video or two here and there, but I like to teach the skill and then practice the skill with some scenarios and simulations. It makes it way more fun. If it works out and I do one for a group, I like to stage people out in the woods or in a car or something with an injury, and you got to find them first and then treat them. And so it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't been through one of my classes, it's a great opportunity. Just get in touch if you'd like to do that. And so I'm going to go ahead and sign out here. I've got way more information on my website for different types of first aid kits, the classes, all that kind of stuff. But as always, if you ever need anything, if you ever need one of the Family Fortress analysis of your home and your family and all that, I'm actually building one of those right now. Those are really fun to do, where I work with you on a customized personal basis to see what's needed to protect your family and your home. It's a lot of fun. And we can have a lot of fun together doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out. This is Dr. Dave for Prepared. If you need to find me, always, I'm at prepareddad.com. There's links below for everything, including how to find me on social media. Before you go, if you made it this far, be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons. If you decide you don't like me later, maybe you just don't appreciate the red beard, you can always unlike or unsubscribe, but just go ahead and click it now while you're thinking about it. Talk to you guys later.